What's going on, y'all? It's your favorite businessman, CEO Rico. And today I want to go over a few different things with you guys. The biggest one is the mortgage calculator. A lot of you guys have been hitting me up asking exactly how to find the best mortgage calculator and how to actually use it. So let's dive into it. So as you can see, if we go on to Google, just simply type in mortgage calculator, right? So when you type in mortgage calculator, here's what's going to pop up. Sweet thing is, very first one, bam. So we're just gonna click on it. Once we click on it, as you can see, we can do a few different things. Now, looking at the top, you got mortgage calculator for like specified years. You got second mortgage, HELOC, refinance, rates, arms, all the different things there. So this definitely is a beneficial tool for you to use if you are in need of one, right? All right, cool. Now, remember this. While being on this site, they're basically going to try to, get you to fill out some information. If you click on anything like find your best rate, things like that, what that's going to do is going to send all of your information out to a bunch of different lenders. So if you don't want to get your number blown up, don't fill that out. All right. Now, simply just playing with some numbers. Let's just play with some numbers. Let's round it off like around 200,000, because a lot of first time home buyers, they're not going to spend $400,000 on a house, right? Now, if you got a down payment, I want to make this real easy. So we're going to put $0 as the down payment, the loan amount, and the interest rate. So right now, interest rates, depending on your situation, they hovering around like the 6.6, somewhere in that range, right? But like I tell everybody, don't look at those rates, because your specific rate is completely different than what you will see for the general overall market. Now, simply go down here. Now, when it comes to loan terms, here's one thing I want you guys to remember. The lower your term, the higher the payment amount. The higher the term, the lower the amount. Reason being is because they're stretching that payment over time. So the longer the payment is stretched out over time, the lower your monthly payment is. Now, what does that mean? On the flip side, that means you're going to be paying more overall for the house. Now, I'm going to tell you guys this. Now, some people, when they hop on social media, they like to talk about these things. And one of the things that just me as an individual, I really don't like, because I'm huge into numbers, but they always give in like the audience. It's kind of like, I'm not going to say sticker shock, but they're trying to give you a part of the message that's not telling the full story. And here's what I mean by this. A lot of people will say, okay, if you borrow $200,000 on a 30-year mortgage, you're going to pay double the mortgage back over the set period of time of years. While yes, that is true, you're definitely going to pay double the house. But here's my question to you. Do you have $200,000 right now to purchase that house? Will you have $200,000 within the next 5 years? There's going to be a trade-off when it comes to borrowing money, when it comes to doing anything, right? So the biggest thing behind this is you have to look at what is the benefit for you, what are you getting out of it, and can you leverage this to get what you want and need? That's the way you want to look at it. Not, oh, I'm going to pay double the house back. I could have bought two houses in 30 years. Because honestly, guys, a lot of you, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, I'm just saying it from a realistic perspective. And in 30 years, you still probably won't even have $200,000 in your pocket anyway to purchase a house anyway. So it's like, if you can get the property that you actually want, you start to build the equity, you start to build the things that you actually want. Who really cares that you actually paid double, for the house, right? So with that being said, let's continue on. So property taxes. Now, when it comes to property taxes, this is something you will kind of have to look up on your own, because property taxes is going to vary, from house to house, county to county, city to city. One of the things that I typically use, I use one of my lenders, their site, because it's a lender estimate and it's kind of like pretty much spot on for the most part. Then you got PMI, then you got homeowners insurance, monthly HOAs. Now, honestly, guys, in a lot of these situations, you're not going to know like the principal, not the principal, but the private mortgage insurance. You're not going to know what the percentage of that is. You're not going to really know what the homeowners insurance is, nor are you probably going to know what the monthly homeowners association cost is. So with that being said, you can either leave those blank, or you can just put some numbers in there just as a estimate, right? So scroll down here. We're going to switch this over to buy. Then we're going to calculate. Now, as we're looking at this here, it's giving you the entire breakdown year by year of what you're going to be paying. Now, don't have a sticker shock on the front end. Now, some people, when they look at this, they will get extremely upset and they will say, well, why is only a small portion of my money going towards the interest and not towards the principal? Well, guys, let me let you in on a little bit of news. So the institutions that are giving you the money for your property, right? They're not in the business of acquiring real estate. They're in the business of lending money. So for them, the loans are front loaded, which means they want their money up front in the beginning versus at the end. So this is something that you just kind of got to deal with as time goes on, honestly. However, remember, you're getting what you want and they're getting what they want because they're a business at the end of the day, right? So when you go down here, as you can see, so we started in 2026, and then right about, let's say there's a midway point, right? So around like 2047. So around like anywhere between like the 15 to 20 year mark, that's when you start to see like some real changes as far as as you can see somewhere in there, you start seeing those principal payments for the whole year start to go up tremendously. And then the interest goes down tremendously, right? But right here in 2045, you see it's a flip, right? So from 2044, you see is a principal of 69.67 that is going towards the principal and 73.91. But in 2045, it flips. Once again, it's like almost 20 years. That's when it starts to flip. So if you're somebody that's going to stay within your property and you know this for a fact for the whole 30 years, then refinance and things like that would not be the best option for you, depending on your situation. Just remember, guys, everything changes over time. So just be understanding of that. But if we actually go towards the breakdown here, you'll see what the mortgage repayment summary is. Now it shows you what the payment with the PMI, which is the private mortgage insurance, the PMI payments are. It shows you what the total PMI to March of 2038. Don't know why they chose that specific year, but that's what, like 12 years from now. Oh, because once the loan gets to 80%, the private mortgage insurance falls off. That's why. So it's basically estimating there's going to be about 139 payments of that payment of 83.33. And then after the 139 months, then it's going to drop down to 1571. That's when the PMI falls off. So if you're looking at like veteran or military benefit, all that stuff changes when you switch loan programs. So right now, we're just looking at conventional, right? So if we look at, so we got the loan payoff date, which is July of 2056. So here you see what the total interest paid is. It shows, let me make sure you guys see it. It shows $230,751. That is the interest over the entirety of the loan. Now, some people like to hone in on that and say, oh, you're paying double the amount and blah, 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 all this stuff, right? But the thing that they always fail to leave out is, guys, would you rather rent for this whole entire period of time, or would you rather purchase a property, have a property, build up the equity, and then you can have leverage within this property, right? Because at the end of the day, real estate is the ideal investment. Why is it the ideal investment? Well, let's break down ideal. Provides income if you're using it as an investment vehicle, right? Whether you're doing rental properties, fix and flips, whatever, it's just an ideal investment. So you got the income component. You got depreciation, because on paper, you want to depreciate as much as you can to offset your taxable income. Then you got equity. You build equity as you paying down a mortgage, as the property appreciates over time. There's a gap in there, and that's where you really start to be able to tap in and really utilize some leverage there, right? You also get appreciation. The appreciation part, I just explained it. Over time, it appreciates in value. House values go up. And then you also have leverage. You can leverage this property. How can you leverage it? You can leverage it in multiple different ways. You can leverage it to bring your taxable income down. You can leverage it to lose money on paper. You can rent it out. You can use the equity, maybe like refinance, cash out, use a home equity line of credit. There's a number of different things on where you can make it an actual asset to where you're winning, okay? That's the huge component that a lot of people don't let you in on when they're trying to give you all the bad news of, oh, you paid double the house. It's like, yeah, but you wasn't going to have $200,000 over that 2-year period of time any damn way, so you had to go do what you had to do. As you can see, the monthly tax pay was $250. You got the monthly home insurance payment, the annual payment amount. Then you also have the total of the 360 payments over the entirety of the loan. So yes, you are paying a nice little bit, right? But it's over 30 years. So my question still stands, guys, is if you already are financially savvy and you wouldn't need to even put yourself into this, cool. Perfectly fine. But so many people like to look at a mortgage calculator and they get upset when they see how much they're paying over the life of the loan. But guys, no matter what, there's financial cost in almost everything that you do. right? Even when you go purchase a car, you got to pay sales tax. And as you can see right here, look, right here, make sure it goes up. You see that? You see what that says? That says 90,000 total tax paid. That's the taxes that you got to pay. That 90,000 is going into this $577,000. It's going into that. Right. Then you got the annual payments of the home insurance. I mean, all of these things. So everything is a cost. So don't get sticker shock when you see this, okay? Because it's not going to do you any justice. Now, if we're looking at, let's say, I want to show you guys a different calculator really quick because it kind of just shows it in a different way. And I really like it. 1 second. All right. So let's look at this one. So right here, this is called smartasset.com. I definitely like this website because it gives you the total payment, monthly payment breakdown a lot easier. It's a little easier to understand and see. So as you can see, well, let's change this from down payment of $100,000. Let's put it at 0. Right? As you see, has the interest rate at about 6%, 30-year fix. And if you want to include some other costs, then you can. And it gives you the full breakdown, right? So if you are doing, let's say it's choosing my location as Redford. Let's see, you're just looking at a few other things, 30-year fix. Now, I want to show you guys this real quick. If you go to a 15-year, look what happens. The payment should have changed. It should have went up tremendously. Why isn't it? Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this calculator, but it's not showing right because when you go to a 15-year, the payment will actually increase drastically, right? So it's not working for some odd reason. However, if you go in here and you actually play around with it and you try, you'll see the difference, right? And here, it's showing you right here. So cool with this little breakdown. So without all of the other costs in there, the monthly payment for 30 years is $11.99. 15-year is $14.53. So it's going to go up, right? Now, the mortgage, as you can see with the rate, I don't know why the rate changed. Let me see, why did it change? I don't know why it changed, but it shouldn't have had changed. I just wanted to show you the breakdown between the two. So we're not even going to look at the total interest paid because once again, you're not comparing apples to apples right now. So we don't want to look at that. But overall, you'll see a difference when it comes to payment because this payment should be higher, but because of lower interest rate, that's why it's looking like that, right? And then it's just showing you like a few different options as far as like different people, institutions you can go to. But here's one thing I'm gonna say again, and also you can see where they have like interest rates with the APR, what the rate is, stuff like that. But remember, once again, just because you see a rate does not mean that that's going to be the rate that you actually have. So if you actually want to do something like that, as far as like get qualified for something like that, you can definitely go through one of these. Just remember, you will be getting a bunch of phone calls. Or you could just simply go down to hit my link, get on my calendar, and we can actually have a conversation, have a one-on-one consultation, and we can, basically get you what you need, right? Here is another depiction. So it's also showing you throughout the years. Yeah, all right, perfect. This is where I want to show you at. So as you can see right here, so you got the principal paid, you have the interest paid, and you have the remaining mortgage balance. Well, one thing you'll notice is as you are going, it's going to actually switch. As you can see, it's switching because typically with mortgages, they're front loaded, which means you're going to pay more towards interest in the beginning, and as time goes on, it's going to decrease. So just remember that as well, guys. But at the end of the day, when it comes to a mortgage, you should not be solely focused on like all these different variables simply because like if you're not really in a position to like do anything about it, you more so just want a home, you want a comfortable payment, and that's what you're mainly focused on, focus strictly on that. Of course, you want to have a good interest rate for sure. However, if you don't even have like, great credit, if you don't have great down payment, if you don't have all these different things, what are we really talking about? The biggest thing is getting you into a home that you can afford comfortably and getting a house that you're actually happy with. And then once you start, getting to a better financial position, you have a solid foundation, a solid ground for yourself and your family, then we can look at those other options where we can really start getting savvy. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like you need somewhere to live at. You're going to either pay rent, which means you're not going to build any type of equity whatsoever, or you're going to pay a mortgage, or you could just simply cash out on your own home. And if you're cashing out on homes, you ain't got to worry about none of this. You know what I'm saying? Well, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you hit that link down at the bottom if you would like to schedule a one-on-one consultation, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I will catch you guys later. Peace.